Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Astros Baseball. We are back after a long hiatus. You know, StreamYard wants to triple the prices, so we had to find somewhere to record our podcast. I was sick, Wally. I was sick for like 5, 6 days. But before I talk about that, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back. It's great to be back on the show again.
It is, and it's sad to see that Bidenflation even gets into the universe of small time podcasts. So we've got to go back and de-Bidenflation our operation to make a profitable operation because we are podcast magnates.
Yeah. I was talking to the guy that helps with the chat for Restream, which what we're using now, and he was saying he's seeing a lot of people coming over because they raised the prices, and I don't know, maybe they're going to have to lower them again because they're going to lose all their customers because that's a lot.
I
It's
mean,
a lot.
it's everywhere. I've got that little seasonings business. Year to year, costs are up 30%, and so it's tough to turn a buck when costs are going up like that.
All right, so let's start with this. I want to bring this up. Minute Maid Park is no longer going to be Minute Maid Park. I think what they say in the beginning of January.
Yeah, they're gonna do a reveal at opening day. I think it starts the first part of January. Minute Maid is still involved as a marketing partner, so there will still be Coke influences there.
Yeah.
But who knows what it's going to be? And one of the big questions they were saying is what happens to the oranges on the back of the train. Crane says he's got an idea. My thing, and I think everybody's commented on this on X, is hey, they can call it whoever takes over. If Dakin's going to pay Dakin, whatever you call it,
Yeah.
takes over. Let's just get the AC to work.
Yeah, some people were saying it was gonna be the ice box, and Jim Crane said, "If you wanna know what's in the back of the train, you're gonna have to wait and find out."
Yeah.
They did some kinda party. They had some kinda get together. Julia was promoting it, I guess when they were unveiling the new name, I guess they let people on the field. They had a little shindig going there in Houston.
You didn't get your invitation either?
No, I didn't get it.
Well, that stinks. I didn't get mine. We
Well,
go to
it's
we
gonna
go
be
to a bunch
weird.
of games. Yeah, it is going to be weird.
It's gonna be
You get
weird.
you get so used to call it MMP, Minute Maid Park.
Yeah.
You forget it's been the name sponsor for 20 years now, 20 plus years now, and that's a long time for a sponsorship to go on. And at some point in time, it probably loses its hook.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess somebody said there it was gonna be the ice box, but that's enough about that. I'm pretty excited. I guess the logos I see online, they're not really on the stadium. Is that
No, yeah,
Photoshop?
that's those are just Photoshop things, I think.
Okay. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so the big news for me, buddy, is Alex Bregman. So I read today that I'm working a lot, so I'm behind, folks. He declined the qualifying offer, which was 21.05 million, and I don't blame him. Last season, he hit 260. It was 260, 315, and 453 slugging, 26 homers, 77 RBIs. And I was reading a story and I watched the video, and they're talking about Scott Boras and some of his clients. He was going after such big deals that some of them only got 1 year. Let's try it again. And he's trying to get Alex Bregman Manny Machado money. And like I said, I showed you the stats. That's like his worst season that he's had. And I don't think he's going to get this 11-year deal that he's looking for or that Scott Boras is looking for.
That if he's really high stuck into that deal, that actually is a blessing in disguise for the Astros. If he wants 11 years, who's going to pay him till he's 42? These deals are going to get bad in the last 2 or 3 years anyway, and so why make the deal be bad in the last what 8 years, 6, 7 years?
No.
No one's going to pay him that, and it kind of makes me wonder if it's a real number. The numbers I keep on hearing are somewhere in the range of what Chapman got. Bregman's walk total was about half of what was the year before. He had 44 walks. He pops up a lot, so it makes you wonder. But he doesn't have a lot of bat speed anyway. He doesn't have. He has about average bat speed. So if his eye is going away and he's starting to get late, he can't pick up the fastball, and he doesn't have Minute Maid Park's Crawford boxes to aim at. What's the future for him? I mean, I think he's still going to be a really productive player,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are going into apoplexy that they might lose him because there's nobody left. Well, you know, you don't have to give him $30 million a year. Yeah, if you got Willie, one of the names you hear talked about is Willie Adames, who's ready to go to third base.
Hmm.
Yes, it's a move from short to third. Ball gets to you little quicker. It's more of a reaction position rather than a 2 or 3 step position. But Jazz Chisholm went to third base and played well enough for the Yankees, and so I have no doubt that he'd do it. Adames is a couple of years younger and has about the same numbers as Bregman, maybe a little better. It's an option. Bregman is not the only guy that we have, and we're seeing with guys like McCullers and Abreu and Montero. You're talking about $45 million a year. That's essentially dead money. We can't add another bad contract.
Yeah, that's true. I also read something about infielder George Polanco or Jorge Polanco,
Jorge Polanco.
switch hitter, career low 651 OPS last year in 118 games. Had knee surgery or came off knee surgery in July. I guess that's what I read. It didn't match up with the 118 games, but that doesn't sound like a good option. But the Willie Adames, that sounds like a decent one.
Yeah, and for the fan base, I think if you bring Adames in and you say, "Hey, Breggy wanted the moon, and we just didn't. We only had half a moon."
Yeah.
That's just what you do. I mean, it's a business. What Boris a couple of years ago aimed too high on his people. They talk about in the housing and the real estate, the residential real estate business is if you ask too much, you end up generally getting less, and when you close than you would have if you just priced it right. The number for Breggy is 6 years, 150, 160, maybe 170. I don't see anybody going off higher than that. I've seen, and that's kind of the number I've seen floated around.
Yeah. I read that Crane has not had a guaranteed money contract more than 5 years, and the biggest deal that he's made is 151 million. So Bregman
Yeah,
wants 5 years, 151. They want Bregman back for 5 more years, and that looks like that's going to be the number.
yeah, I could see something 5, 6 years, but have some options, mutual option after 3 or 4, whatever. Breggy thinks he's that good and he can move, then great. But I don't see the Astros, given their salary structure right now, going out of the world. They're really, really tight on the moves they can make because of their salary structure. And if Bregman goes, you can get a couple of guys in there to hopefully fill the spot. Now, third base, there's not a whole lot there this year.
Yeah. If you get somebody capable that can at least play third, I mean, you can buy 2 guys with that money.
I wonder if Blum would come out of the booth.
He should. All right, I think that's it. That's all I have for Alex Bregman. Personally, do you want him back?
At the right number. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like anything else. It's everybody's got their price. Everybody has their value. I'm as concerned about the years as anything else.
Yeah.
That thing about his walks declining by half,
Yeah.
that really makes me wonder if he's able to see the balls well. He chased a whole lot more this year. Is this something that the whole team chased a lot this year?
Yeah.
We talked about it in some of the cat pods during the season that the Astros were running a 20% less walks in 04 versus 03. So it could have even been part of a team-wide approach that they just need to get back to, and Espada has talked about that.
Yeah, they need to. It might not be him. It might be all of them. Who knows?
Yep.
But you talked about that all year about how Alex Bregman's walks got cut in half, and that's something you noticed. And I think that's what affected his OPS. That's what affected
Oh
his on
yeah.
base percentage. So, but he was a Gold Glove third baseman, so
And
he's got
and
a
we
lot
had
to
said,
offer.
yeah, and we had said all season one of the best things about Bregman is even when he was hitting 195 on May 15th, he was still playing a Gold Glove defense. So many of these guys who will not hit well will take their bat out to the field and start kicking balls around. And Bregman played a fantastic third base. And I think even years before when Chapman was in the American League, Bregman was as good as Chapman, but Chapman had gotten so used to receiving the Gold Gloves that he was just a default to get it.
Yeah. All right. So there's been some awards out. What other awards have been? I know Altuve Silver Slugger.
Altuve's seventh Silver Slugger. He did not get, the MLB Slugger. I don't know what they call it, the Platinum Bat or whatever the heck they call it.
Yeah.
But Altuve got his seventh Silver Slugger. Um, you've seen some of the things around about Altuve, and they're saying is Altuve a Hall of Famer?
I think so. I
I think
haven't
so.
seen it, but like, I don't see why not.
I mean, he's got a ways to go, but if he gets 150 hits through a year through the rest of his contract, and he's at 3,000.
Oh yeah.
You get some of these jokers saying he shouldn't be in because of the 17 team. Well, they leave out the fact that the Yankees got a letter, the Red Sox did it the year after, and there's this guy named Willie Mays. He played on the 51 Giants, and they stole signs with a telescope and a buzzer.
Yep.
You're gonna if Jose's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, then Willie's not going to be shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's okay whichever way you do it, just be consistent.
Yeah. So another thing that I saw the other day is Altuve, Jordan, and Framber. I think it was Framber. They made second team All MLB last year. It was Jordan and Tucker. I think the last two seasons it was Jordan and Tucker. Now we got three.
Yeah, and Tucker probably would have if he'd stayed healthy. He still wasn't right when he came back.
Yeah. What other awards did anybody win that you
Well,
want to
let's
talk
see.
about?
You got the Rookie of the Year. You got Paul Skeens in the
Oh yeah.
National League, which he could if his arm stays healthy. I was a little worried about it, the way he throws because he has that low delivery and he leads with his elbow, and that puts a lot of strain on that elbow, and that could lead to TJ. Hopefully it doesn't, but that's a hard way to do it. Who was in the American League? It wasn't Cowser.
Was the guy from Detroit?
No. Paul Skeens. Oh, Luis Hill. I don't.
Huh.
That sounds like a New York kind of thing. Because I
Yeah.
thought Colton Cowser was better than Luis Hill. Manager of the year was Pat Murphy in the American League and Stephen Vogt, or Pat Murphy in the National League, Stephen Vogt in the American League.
Yeah.
You know,
He did a great job.
yeah, he sure did, and he's a lot of fun to. You ever listen to him on MOB radio?
No, I don't listen to the
No,
radio.
He'll call in. He's a lot of fun. Pat Murphy was Craig Counsell's coach at Notre Dame,
Hmm.
and then Counsell brought him to be his bench coach at Milwaukee, and so it's kind of nice to hear that the Counsell going off that Murphy does so well.
All right. I want to talk about this, buddy. To get into the Hall of Fame, I know there's more than one person on it. I think there's a first ballot Hall of Famer getting on it this year. But you need 75% of the vote. And this is the last year for my very first favorite Astros player, Billy Wagner. Last year, 73.8. He's got to get in. He's got to get in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He should have gotten in last year.
Yeah.
One thing you find with a lot of these older players, you'll look at their last 2 or 3 years, like, okay, Miguel Cabrera. He played out that contract, but he was a minus player the last couple of years there. When you look at Billy Wagner's last 3 years, let's just throw some ERAs out: 230, 172, 143. Okay. 1-1 in the record in 08, 0-1 in excuse me, 09, then 08. And then he was 7-2 in 2010. He's the rare exception of a player who told the game it was time to go rather than the game telling him it's time to go. He absolutely ought to be in the Hall of Fame. Rob, you're muted.
All right. See, I muted because I wanted to listen to something on my phone, but thanks for pointing that out. What we have next is some free agents, right? We got Astros free agents and some other big name free agents. Let's start with the Astros. We already talked about Alex Bregman. Where do you see him going? What have you heard? Have you heard anything? I heard Phillies. I heard the Phillies want him.
I could see him in Philly.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't like Alex Bohm. I'd take Alex Bohm for Bregman straight up.
Yeah.
The Yankee, he would fit with the Yankees because they're looking for a third baseman. You know, the Yankees have Gleyber Torres, who I think they're just happy to get rid of, and you can move Jazz Chisholm to second base, put Bregman at third. He'd be in a team full of some stars, and so he wouldn't be counted on his own. But can you imagine Bregman if he's hitting 160 at Memorial Day? God bless. You think those New York guys wouldn't getting all over him? I've heard the Mets. I've heard the Giants. Well, not the Giants because Chapman's there. I've heard the Cubs. I don't think until he starts giving a number that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, the potential fit that MLB.com says the Astros, D-backs, and Mariners.
Yeah. Nobody's going to give 11 years, $350 million. I don't think anybody's going to be that desperate.
No. I mean, the only person that has a chance on that is Soto, and it's because he's so darn young.
Yeah. What do you think about JV? Maybe Detroit will give him a little chance. Go back home.
That wouldn't surprise me. What do you? I mean,
Texas Rangers.
I think he waits and sees if something's out there. I think there's a number that he's gonna have just to get off the couch.
Yeah. Could be somebody gets injured during spring training and someone needs another starter. I mean,
and a lot depends on how hard he's working out over the winter.
Yeah.
If he had that injury and he had that last start for the Astros, it was okay. But no one, he knew it. Everybody on the team knew that he was not going to be on the playoff roster, at least in that first round.
Yeah.
I think it's 50-50 if he comes back.
Heard anything about anybody wanting Kikuchi? I know he wanted to stay here.
I haven't heard anything on Kikuchi.
Me neither.
I mean, it seems to be trending away from him staying with the Astros. The Astros have pitchers that should come back, but look what happened to him earlier in the season. You had a whole rotation save one that was knocked out.
Yeah.
I think they're really counting on it. Here's the one that might really change things about bringing Kikuchi back. If they trade Framber.
Oh yeah.
If you trade Framber and try to get him out, you get more value for him with a full year. He's 32.
Second team All MLB.
Yeah. He's one of these guys. He's up and down, but when you look at him, man, he posted this year.
Yeah, he's great.
He pitched really well. Outside of that one time where he threw moon balls, he got off the plan and then threw those moon balls in and got lit up for 6 runs in that one inning. He was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Framber, the interesting thing will be Framber is, do they want to take Framber and sign him for a 2 or 3 year extension and do it now and get him to 34, 35? If they do that, then Kikuchi's gone.
Yeah. What about what do you think about them not giving Urquidy a contract? And he went through He's a free agent now. He went through the I can't even get the word out right now.
He went through waivers.
Yeah, waivers. There you
He
go.
went through waivers. He's a free agent. It wouldn't surprise me to bring Kikuchi back or bring Urquidy back. I think the thing with Urquidy is they had to cut him because they didn't want to go through arbitration with him. So if you're talking, it's not a ton, but he has been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He's still working on that Tommy John. So it's
Yeah.
going to be middle of the year next year. I could see them bringing him back on a 2-year deal where they pay him a little bit this year and more in 26.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think they let him go because of his injury, and then they have other guys coming back. They have Javier, Lance McCullers. And maybe I don't know. Maybe
McCullers has found money.
Yeah.
Whatever you get from McCullers is found money. As much as he's around, and I've been fortunate enough to know some people that have met him, and they can't say anything. They can't say enough nice things about the family, but he's a guy you root for, because it seems like it's not that as if he's out being a party animal and wrecking his bike and getting stuck out for 2 or 3 months because he's being stupid. It's just baseball injuries, and you root for a guy like that to come back.
Yep. All right. What about Soto? Let's take off the Astros here. Soto, is he going to go back to New York? They'd be nuts to just not give him whatever he wanted.
I think he goes to New York. It's just which team. Steve Cohen, the owner, has said he'll outspend anybody who wants Soto by $50 million.
Wow.
He's got,
wow.
So he's wanting to do it. It's something about different sports, but the Mets and the Jets, it's just those two franchises, just give them a chance and something will screw up.
Yeah.
If I were him, I'd go back to the Yankees. The big question with the Yankees is, do they give Cashman one more chance to get a World Series, and do they send him out to pasture? Because in the World Series, it came back again. Their lineup was just not built was just not well constructed.
Yeah. You were saying that the Mets signed an old Astros player.
They traded for him.
Oh, they traded for him.
They traded somebody for Jose Siri.
Wow.
Jose, let me hot dog a home run when I'm down 8 runs, Siri.
Hey, let me ask you this before I forget. What do you think about what happened in Tampa Bay, or they don't play in Tampa Bay, but Tropicana, the roof got ripped off. They're not even going to have it ready for the season. They're going to play somewhere else. So they're going to probably be playing in a minor league stadium, just like the A's.
Yeah, they're going to play at Steinbrenner Stadium in Tampa. The bigger question in Tampa is that, given all the hurricane damage, is bonds for the bond package for the new stadium is at least being delayed. And I think the bigger question is, does Tampa Bay move to like Charlotte?
They can move somewhere, because the fan base they have now, they can play in a minor league stadium.
Oh yeah, both people that go to the Tampa Bay games have a great time.
Yeah.
Nobody
goes.
Yeah, I've never been out to that stadium. I have no real desire. I've heard it's just a dump.
Yeah. What about Sasaki? You brought him up before we came on.
Everything you hear is that it's going to be the Dodgers. Dodgers are the Padres, but I think the Padres sound like a stalking horse just to get him to the Dodgers. The one that I have no real feel for is Corbin Burns. I haven't heard anything where Corbin Burns is going to go.
I had read something about him. There was, I guess it was a fan of another team, and they're like, just please, we need an ace. So I don't remember what team it was, but somebody with the team without an ace really wants him.
Yeah, what was he? He won about 10 games this year, 10, 11 games this year. Of course, 10 or 11 games this year. And these days, it's like winning 25, 20 years ago. what they've done with pitchers is they baby them and then they wonder why their arms break off.
Yeah. I saw a meme that Nolan Ryan threw like 300 pitches in 13 innings, and then 3 days later he threw like 7 more innings. Like, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
crazy the way they used to do it.
Well, in the '68 World Series, to get it's an extreme thing, and it's at the end of the season. Mickey Lolich won games 2, 5, and 7, and he won Game 7 on 2 days rest.
Damn. All right. What about? Oh, we already talked about. What is his name? Adames. I got to learn it because he might be an Astro someday.
It wouldn't surprise me if he shows up here.
What's his?
And,
what would you think his money would look like?
I think he'd probably be 5 at 140, something like that. Not too far off what Bragy's doing.
Really? I got to do the math. So over 20 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Well,
to
I mean,
see
if it's 5/140 versus some guy that wants 11/350, I mean, there you go.
he is he's a good candidate to move to third because his defensive metrics dropped a little bit. Maybe his range is going. He's 29 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Bregman's 31. Maybe you give him an extra year because he could be the one that lasts a little longer.
Yeah. What else you got?
Let's see. Guys, Pete Alonso. There was a lot of talk about Pete Alonso. I think he goes back there. They say maybe to the Astros.
Yeah, a lot of Astro fans want them to take care of first base.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything of what they're doing at first base. They got to do something. Singleton's a nice story.
Yeah,
but like Rhys Hoskins, I think is a free agent, but he can't catch a cold. and Christian Walker would be a good one, but he's also 34. But he started late, so he may not have all the wear and tear. If they give Christian Walker 3 years, 3 at 90.
Yeah.
3 at 75, something like that. That you don't want to pay a first baseman too much. I mean, those guys generally don't get the big numbers that the other ones do. But like, Abreu is 19 and a half.
Yeah.
And he was showing signs of decline. Walker's not. So we'll just see.
We'll see.
Ha-Seong Kim's one that would be kind of interesting. He's may not be ready to start the season, but he's the Padres shortstop. He's getting he had a shoulder injury, and so those are always tricky, but I've always liked him as a player.
Well, I don't have anything. I do have something that the Astros added Colton Gordon to the 40-man to protect him from the Rule 5 draft, which I think is probably in January or early February.
Yeah, I think it's sooner than that.
Is it?
Yeah,
I guess maybe if they just did it right now. I mean, they're probably getting ready for it. He's a left-handed pitcher, 8-2 in 24 starts, 3.94 ERA, 124 strikeouts, and a 2.38 batting average against.
Yeah. Back on Adames, Jim Bowden thinks it's going to be 6 at 150. So he's in line with what we would expect Bregman to get.
Even better.
Yeah.
That's one extra year for only $10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he performs, if he doesn't.
Yeah. That's the thing about these.
The Astros are so used to, I think the Astro fans are so used to having homegrown talent that if they go out and sign somebody like they did Jose Abreu, you better be good or we're going to get sick of you quick.
That's right. That's right. And we've talked about it on other shows is what the Astros are going through right now is what a lot of good teams go through. You bring your homegrown talent along. If the minor leagues dry up a little bit, you're stuck with a bunch of old players. To an extreme, the Astros had that before they did the breakdown. Astros are in better shape than that. But if there's any one thing that Luhnow did poorly is that We've talked about it before. He went to an analytics-based approach to the minor leagues. It didn't work. And so the Astros have had to go back with Dana going a little more old school and building their minor leagues up. You were talking third base earlier. Some people had talked about Bryce Matthews, but I don't hear any. There's been no rumblings that Matthews is ready to play.
Yeah, it'll probably be another season after this one, if so.
I would expect it at least halfway through.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud. That's all I know. I mean,
but Magic Man's gone.
Magic Man is gone, folks.
Not just gone. He went to the desert.
Do I got to change my favorite team? What's going on here?
Well, he can't even get Brent Strom to help him anymore because Strom is the assistant at Pittsburgh now.
I know. That's crazy. I didn't think Strom would want to move anywhere. I thought he was just coaching in Arizona because he was living there, but that was kind of a shocking move.
Kind of gives some credence to the rumors that he and Dusty didn't get along all that well.
All right, buddy. You got any final thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No, I think we're going to start seeing some movement once we get to the winter meetings. They've had the GM meetings, got the winter meetings coming up first week of December, somewhere around there, and so we'll start seeing some movement. I think Soto's going to sign quick, and then
he's the one that's going to get the ball rolling. I think.
Yeah, once he signs, you get that one person out of the way, you get that big monster out of the way, and everything starts to slide, starts to move.
Yeah. All right, folks, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry we've been gone so long. Hope you were able to come back, listen to us again, and we hope you enjoyed doing listening to the podcast half as much as we enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, we really enjoy this, and thanks for your listens.
All right, thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you next time on Astros Baseball.